just that encouragement from God's Word and even real, true-to-life experiences. At this point, if you've got questions, even for practical questions on how to go about courtship and how to go about waiting on the Lord, jot it down on the sheet of the papers in front of you. You've got pens there, and then we're going to collect it. But while that's happening, while you're jotting down those questions, I'm actually going to share with you my story on how I came to know the Lord and how God has moved in my life. And so you can talk amongst yourselves, but I just want to, for those of you who do want to hear what God can do in a life, here goes. Once again, my name is Louella, and I grew up here in Canada. My parents and we're actually three girls, but then it was my sister and I and my parents. We moved here to Canada in 1989. I was just 4 years old, and growing up in a somewhat religious family as well, my mom started seeking. She started seeking answers and seeking what more is it to the religiosity of it. And she started going to this local church just blocks away from our apartment. And so she took us with her, my sister and I. And I really remember when I was 8 years old that the teacher, the Sunday school teacher, actually asked, "Who wants to accept Jesus into their heart?" And I raised my hand, and I even went forward as a little 8-year-old girl. I really clearly remember that I accepted Jesus into my life. And however, though, throughout that time from 8 until, well, as a teenager, I always called myself to be a Christian. I always thought that, hey, yeah, I grew up in a Christian home. Yeah, I'm Christian. Every time you would have to fill out those those things for school. What's your religion? I'd always write Christian. I really didn't understand it. But it was when I was 9 years old, my father had decided to leave us. He had another family. In fact, it was an on and off relationship with my mom and my dad, and he finally decided to leave us. So at 9 years old, as a 9-year-old, you don't really think much about it. I guess it didn't really sink in. So I grew up practically without a dad, and so at 9 years, I had my sister, and we also had another sister, so we were 3 girls all in all. Not realizing that how much of an effect it was to me, my mom actually moved us to the Philippines. She thought, you know what, let's go to the Philippines, let's have a fresh start. I don't want to be walking around Toronto with my 3 girls knowing that I'm the one that's raising them alone. And so Nanay, which I call her, Nanay and her, she was such a brave woman, and she still is a brave woman today. She took us, the 3 girls, and we decided we moved back, and we went to Dumaguete City in the Philippines. But before that, my dad all of a sudden thought, hey, you know what, let's try to work it out. And my dad went with us. He wanted to work it out with my mom and thought, you know what, let's start a fresh life together. So he left his mistress and their daughter and decided just, let's start. So here was a 12-year-old girl. Yes, I was so happy, and in fact I was thinking, wow, this is great. Our family's complete again. And I was first year high school then. But within the first year, Nana and it didn't work out again, and just constant fights about money, about this and that, and suddenly Nana just thought, you know what, just go. She kind of kicked him out, literally. But not knowing Ty also had to come back here, and so he left us the second time. So 12 years old, growing up in high school, I thought, you know what, I felt so empty. I felt like, what's up with this? I started looking for love in the wrong places, and I went from relationship to relationship to relationship. Not necessarily promiscuous or anything like that, but I just needed to be loved. I just needed to feel that security. I thought that having a relationship with a guy who would tell me I'm beautiful, who would tell me that he loves me and buy me nice things and all sorts of things, I thought that could fill me. In fact, I really remember, I was actually in relationships behind my mom's back. I don't know, maybe some of you are doing that right now. But I really remember this one relationship. I was 15. I got off the motorcycle, going home, meters away from the gate of our house. I was getting off the motorcycle. Of course, you get that, the good night kiss or whatever. I walked to the gate, and my mom was right there at the gate. And I can really clearly remember where she slapped me on the face. She was like, Grabe. She was she just told me, she's like, Bem is my nickname. She's like, Bem, you're the eldest of your sisters. Don't you realize what you're doing? What an example you are setting. You're supposed to be responsible. She just went on and on and on and on about how she wants to go back to Canada to support us, but yet she doesn't trust me now that she knows that I'm hiding this behind her. I froze, and it was really heartbreaking to see that my mom was trying to have this life for us, but yet I was doing that behind her back. And so I thought, okay, yeah, I'll get my act together and be a good girl. But that didn't happen. I just got into another secret relationship behind my mom's back, and this time it was a little more serious, and I thought that maybe this guy is really for me, and yet he didn't introduce me to his parents. It was just this